results. Now, let me welcome up on stage an information security consultant and expert in confidentiality of Innostage, Olga Pukhova. Let's give her a hand. Hi, Alexei. Everybody's pumped up. Let's hear from you. Thank you. From the start through to the end of my presentation, over 30,000 entries with your personal data will leak online. My name is Olga Pukhova. I'm an information security consultant from Innostage. Today, I'll be your speaker and guide to the world of personal data. I'll tell you how to avoid being featured in that unfortunate statistics. You'll learn about the key legislation in personal data protection, the outcomes of leak analysis, as well as most common mistakes and tips and tricks to safeguard your personal data. Let's start with the law. The main regulations in this area are already in place. There is the Russian law on protection of consumer rights and the federal law on personal data. How do we define personal data? This is any information that's directly or indirectly related to a specific or concrete physical person, an object or subject of personal data. Such subject is just a human with their name, date of birth, and so on. You can see it in the slide. So we are all subjects of personal data. Before we begin discussing our rights as subjects, let's also specify who personal data operators are. This can be any legal entity, from private entrepreneurs to businesses or organizations. Private individuals can operate personal data as well. The laws provide for certain rights of the subjects. Article 14 says that as a subject of personal data, you are entitled to specify your personal data with operators, have it blocked or deleted if you believe that it's inaccurate, incomplete, or obtained illegally. Article 15 says that processing of your personal data that is aimed at political campaigning or marketing can only be done with your express consent. Here is an example. Once you sign up for a website or download an app, you get this prompt. It offers you different ads, other special features, and if you consent by checking a box, then there it is. Article 16 prohibits legally binding decisions in regards to subjects of personal data if they are fully automated. If it's zero touch, if it's all in computers, it is prohibited. Let me comment on this. When we do different polls online, we do a series of steps. You get these windows and you've seen it, I guess. Like captures where you need to mark all traffic lights or crosswalks. This is for computers to understand that they interact with a human. These algorithms are challenging for automation. Article 17 of the law entitles you to files you to complaint against any actions by the operators via court or Roskomnadzor, the supervisory authority. You're entitled to damages, moral damages as well. Then there is this other law, consumer rights. This is concerned with ads and advertisement mailing lists. You can decide on your own if you want to receive those. Then it also stipulates that the user's consent cannot be forced by limiting access to a service. To expand on that, let me also note that we are well protected legally. To be more specific, our rights are well protected legally when it comes to personal data processing. Similar provisions are available in the personal data law, where it specifies consent. It needs to be unambiguous, express, voluntary, and based on proper clarifications in case the person denies consent. How do I deny consent to processing of my personal rights? You can revoke your consent at any moment in time. This requires a written notification sent to the operator, where you state your will to revoke the consent. The mandated time period is 30 days, which the operator has to cease processing of your data, block them, and delete them. Where do I complain if this doesn't happen? You can complain electronically with Roskomnadzor, the supervisory authority. The link is available in the slide via the code. If you keep receiving advertisements in spite of your denial or rejection of it, you can file a complaint with the same authority or with the antitrust authority. Let's speak a bit about the amendments that are related to biometric data. Biometric data includes fingerprints or images of your face that can identify you. Not many users provide their biometric data at this time, but you still need to be aware of that. There are amendments where services are denied in case of non-provision of such data. Let's say you go to a fitness center. The operator might require that you provide biometric data to them. You are entitled to reject doing that, but still make use of their services. If this law is violated, there are certain penalties attached to that. The government is undertaking a number of measures that safeguard our personal data. Here are the most common violations in this area. Some are minor, others are serious. Criminal liability is being introduced for illicit use of information that contains personal data. There's been an onslaught of such crimes that rely on personal data recently. If you saw some leaks on some website, and if you repost it, then you process the data, you become an operator, and you are fully liable under the law. Conversely, if you became a victim, you can get free of charge legal advice with the Legal Advice Center for Digital Environment, the digital space that operates in Russia. Here are some major leaks that have happened recently. Since the beginning of this year, more than 500 million personal data entries were leaked online. This means that every half an hour, more than 30,000 get leaked. In 2023, this was 300 million. The largest leaks that have been publicized in the media are shown in the slide as well. This has to do mostly with delivery services, online shops, and other digital services. To not be featured in this sad statistics, you can use the servers for checking the integrity of your personal data. The QR code is in the slide, and it's offered by the National Coordination Center for Computer Incidents. It's an open database that's regularly updated. You will need to make a search query on the portal by entering your phone number, email address, or login. If something is returned, you'll see the service that got hacked, and then you'll get some recommendations on how to ensure your safety. The data is not stored on the platform, and the platform doesn't store the database itself either. Here are some common online mistakes by regular users. The first one is the most interesting. It has to do with confidentiality policy. A show of hands. Who has ever read the confidentiality policy when you signed up for a service? Well, there are some people who are more aware. Let me give you a bullet point here still. When we sign up for a website, we need to carefully review their policy. It is there to tell you who, how, and why will be processing your personal data. Pay special attention to the third parties that you give consent for the data to be transferred to. The other mistake is weak passwords. I think everybody is aware of people who use one and the same password across different platforms. It's a big no-no. It's better to have several resilient passwords. Such strong passwords have to be 12 characters or more, uppercase, lowercase, letters, and numbers. But do not use series of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do not include your name, place of birth, and so on, because these features are easily identifiable so that attackers can own your data. The third mistake is using public Wi-Fi. When we do that, we must not provide any personal information. If it's an unknown network, it's better to avoid it entirely. This can be an attack aimed at capturing your personal data. Mistake 4. Purchases at unknown sites. When shopping online, do make sure to use the official resources. Check your browser to see that you use the HTTPS protocol. Saving your banking details on websites, that's another mistake, and it's often offered by the websites to store your credit card details. This is not advisable either. This allows attackers to capture your banking details. Next mistake is clicking on suspicious emails and attachments. When you get an email in your inbox that notifies you that you won a prize, never click any link there. Do not open the attachment because it can contain malware that will get access to all your data. Here are some precautions or response measures by the users if their data have leaked already. First, you need to identify which data was stolen. Then you can monitor it on the news. If there is a leak, you have been notified officially, you'll need to contact the operator and specify which data got stolen. Then you'll need to change your credentials that have been compromised. Your password or your email, wherever you've used it, you need to change it. Then you'll need to set up 2FA, two-factor authentication. When you sign up with a social media site, you enter your login and password, and then there needs to be this next step to enter a one-time code that you receive usually on your smartphone. Safeguard your financial data as well. If your banking details got leaked, you'll need to ask the bank to block your card and reissue it. Then you need to monitor all your accounts. There are some ways to do that. If there was a leak, you need to be wary of any suspicious activity. For example, someone logs in into your account from an unknown place. If someone initiated a password reset that you didn't do, that is also suspicious. In closing, let me recap by saying that these simple rules can make your life online safe and secure. More often than not, we provide our data to attackers, and to counteract that, we need to become more aware. Thank you for your attention. Stay safe and safeguard your data. Thank you very much for this very useful presentation. Let's give all a round of applause to gauge the response. Very comprehensive presentation, very useful. How you can get hacked, how you can check your status, and how to safeguard your personal data, keeping it private. Did you enjoy that presentation? It was interesting, yeah, but I see where I am failing. I have reused passwords. I don't use 12 characters for my passwords, uppercase, lowercase, special characters. Come on. Then I have to remember all these passwords. If you store it in your notes, it's another vulnerability. If your phone gets stolen, you know, there is someone who can come up with a strong password for you. You can have your cat walk across the keyboard, or you can smash the keyboard yourself and get a great password like that. Well, you know, my cat, when it does that, it never enters the same sequence. So calling up my cat to log in with the bank is not that great of an idea, I think. Well, you need to do that just once. You recall the password that it generated once. Well, I'll try this. I'll try this. What do you think about the poll? The audience has voted. How often do they check their credit history, you think? Every 2 days, every month? We'll get the stats now. Once every year, once every month, every 3 days, and never. What's going to be the most popular response? What's the real data on this? There are social surveys, maybe. So, do you know already? Well, we don't usually do that. Many people don't do that because they don't need it. But it is actually required for our banking details and data to stay secure because it's all about money. Well, yeah, now I see that you need to be more careful about public networks, public Wi-Fi. You need a strong password, make it as long as possible, and not related to your person in any way. My friends, family, phone number, date of birth, not to be used. Yes. So we'll see the stats now, and we'll see how you voted. Here are the results. 33% of people do this once a year. 37%, the largest response rate. Don't think that their data is threatened. Don't do that at all. And then we have 11%. We don't have anybody who is too paranoid. Well, great. Thank you, Olga. Thank you for this very useful contribution. Friends, do visit the booth of Innostage, great company. They're great entertainers and great teachers. You have race cars there, right? Can you tell us about this? We exchanged a couple of words, but what's it all about? Why racing? Our company has a racing team that participates in different racing events. It's very engaging. So if you want to see the cars or just learn something about our company, you're all welcome. Where do we find it? Is it on the other side from the arena? Yeah, exactly there. It's a large van. You will not miss it. And you'll see AGT in large letters written on it with 2 racing cars as well. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Test the cars with that circuit, and they have free cookies as well. Thank you, Olga. Have a nice day.